Here we go at the lovely studios of WSAN Radio, located at 502 Montana on the corner of Hackberry. We are in this black museum here. It's called the William Historical National Museum. We do a lot of our interviews and guest appearance right here in this spot where I'm sitting at. If you want to see more of our guests and see our past interviews, go to our YouTube channel. That's WSAN Radio SA. And once you go to that channel, you be going down rabbit holes. You want to see what did he say here, what happened there. So we're here for you. This is your platform, San Antonio. So come on board, come on down, and join the train ride, and come listen to WSAN Radio, San Antonio, Texas, downtown East.
My name is Martha Rice, and the company I work for that I am co-owner of, that I am owner of, sorry. I always say co-owner because I got so many people I'm working with. But that I own Complete in Him, which is my life coaching business. And I wanted to come on to talk about the psychology around finances. Why is this so dear to me? It's dear to me because I went through some tough financial problems. And so today, I have my guest with me. Her name is Mykisha McKay, and she is a financial advisor. Matter of fact, she's my financial expert. She actually, I've been knowing her for like years, right?
Yeah, at least
5 years. And we worked together at one time, and she was you got to remember, sometimes it's, you have to build relationships, right? And so I saw her on Facebook, and I was curious. I was like, oh my gosh, I need help with my finances, because I talk to people about their mental health all the time. But sometimes, there's health to me is holistic. I look at it as a whole, like environmental, social, financial, spiritual, all of that is health for me. And so I started thinking about, wait a minute, I have a deficit in finances, in my financial health. And so I said, I had to think about it. Sometimes that's one of the things we don't want to look at, right? Our finances. We don't want to look at, because it tell a story.
Right, correct.
And so mine was telling the story of, it was like, it made me want to dig deeper into what was going on. And my question that I had to ask myself is, when did I first learn, what was the model I had?
Good point.
Around finances, right? And what it meant, what did it do for me? And I never forget my first experience with finances was my dad. We went school shopping, and he pulled out the credit card, and I didn't have like, okay, you only can buy this. I had abundance.
Yeah.
And so when he slapped the credit card down, I never forget. It looked like I felt this sense of like power. He had power. And I connected finances to power. And the credit card, I connected that to power. So you can imagine my financial situation before I figured it out, right? Credit card debt.
Yep.
Up the wazoo because I felt powerful.
Yep.
And so that's one of the questions I want to ask you. What was your first experience with finances?
I'd say, and actually my parents actually remind me this often. I want to say when I first maybe realized just money in general, I was really little, right? So where I was of an age where I had no filter, right?
Okay.
Little kids come up. And I remember going to the store, honestly, with my mom, and the person in front of us was checking out. And this person was using, at that time, it was food stamps, right? And it was like fake money. And as a kid, I'm thinking, and I said to her, I said, Mom, these people, they're paying with Monopoly money, right? So of course, my mother was completely embarrassed, right? But That is my first real recollection of money, play money.
Play money.
Play money,
Interesting. So how
right?
did that pan out in your financial
In my
template?
yes, you know what I'd say, in how that played out for me was, I thought it was just disposable. I thought if I have it, I'm spending it on whatever I want, right? No thought process around planning, budgeting, or anything like that was in my mind, right? So,
Right.
And same with credit card, right? Swipe, swipe, swipe. Felt powerful, trying to keep up with the Joneses, right? Having that sense of instantaneous gratification.
Yes, that's a big
Wanting it
thing.
now, as opposed to you really need it now.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
All of that.
that's the thing about finances, right? That instant gratification.
Yeah.
Because what happens is if we can just hold off
Yep.
on instant gratification and figure out what's going on with our finances,
Yep.
we could be in a better position.
Absolutely.
And so I used to think you have to, especially like the credit industry, like what's your credit score? They always say you have to have some credit cards to build your credit. But it's really, when you think about it, do you think that's a form of financial manipulation? Because when I look, I think so too, because when I look at the Bible, it say the borrower is a slave to the lender. And I ain't gonna lie, I felt the slavery.
Exactly.
Exactly. You feel the slavery.
Yes.
Because you got to work to pay that.
Exactly. Yes, that's not free money.
No, it's not. And I always thought it was like, oh, a powerful free money. I didn't think how hard he had to work.
Right. Exactly. And then the interest that racks up on that credit card debt if you don't pay it off right away, right? All of that. And honestly, I didn't learn any of that really deep down until, I want to say, maybe 10 years ago. That's when I was like, oh, this is how credit card debt works. After I'd piled up a whole lot and got myself in trouble and had to get it cleaned up, right? Yeah.
So what made you get into the financial industry?
So background wise, numbers have always been my thing, right?
Okay.
So of course, when I went to school, I got a degree in accounting, right? So started working for corporate America and worked for, in corporate finance and accounting. So that's kind of what my background is, right? So, I had no problem helping a company, balance their balance sheet and, put their expenses in the ledger and et cetera, right? But when I would get home and look at my own personal finances, I wasn't doing any of that, right? So when I had my daughter, she's 6 now, I'd say when she turned around 2, that's when I woke up one day and I was like, wait a second. I have a whole human, my husband and I have a whole human that we are going to be financially responsible for. Right. So I need to make sure her future is planned out and the finances behind that is set for her. How do I do that? And I had no clue. Right. So I reached out for help. I said, okay, I don't know. That's one thing I do not have a problem with, is reaching out for help. If it's something that I need.
Right. Me, if I need help, I'm doing it. I'm not going to suffer in silence. I'm sorry.
Correct. Right. So I reached out to another financial professional that blew my mind with financial education, right? And showed me ways of saving for her future that, was things that I didn't know of ways to save for her that is safe. I'm not subject to loss and things of that nature. So that is, meeting with him sparked something in me that, hey, if I don't know this, how many others don't know this, right? And I then found my purpose. I said, I need to channel this.
Right.
And train, learn, and teach my community some of these tools as well. So
wow.
That's what brings me to where I am today.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And that's what made me think about the psychology behind it, because as I was spending, I saw, as my father was spending, actually, I saw how the family responded to his power. And I wanted to seek that. Yeah. And I started to mirror that. Yeah. And I was the person they called on all the time. when they needed something,
Yeah.
but I felt powerful.
Right.
But
right.
then I started saying, wait a minute, hold up. Hold up, I'm in a deficit.
Right. So where'd that
Wait a
power
minute,
come
hold
from?
up.
Right.
They didn't get me nowhere because it was really a false sense. It was a script I was following. I
Yeah.
was following a script. We all follow
Yep.
scripts.
Yep.
And it was a script I was following, but I didn't have all the information.
Right.
Like I didn't have the interest rates, the information about that.
Yeah.
I didn't have how did he end up paying for all of this? I didn't have
Right.
that background, and nor did I ask either,
Yeah.
you know. And then my debt started to pile up, student loans, and I didn't really think about. I wanted to look at my finances, but I didn't want to look at it.
Yeah, a lot of people are used because you're scared to
You're
face
scared to face it, and I was like, it's almost like just snatch the Band-Aid off
Yeah.
and just go for it.
Yeah.
I saw guilt. I was paying into guilt. I saw that.
Yeah.
I saw lack of self-control.
That.
I saw people pleasing.
Definitely.
I was starting to see
Yeah.
these patterns in my finances, and I was like, "What the heck?"
Yeah.
Okay, how do I address this? Now, this is deeper than I expected.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
exactly.
saying?
The psychology behind it is a lot
Exactly. And so one of the things that you mentioned about your daughter, because one of the things my father did teach me, you better get a policy.
Yeah. Yes.
He had policies on all of us.
Life insurance.
Tell us about that. Because a lot of people don't have it.
Yes.
And then we got to fund it.
Exactly.
That ain't
With
right.
the GoFundMe, right?
Yeah, that's
Social
not right.
Funding. Yes. Life insurance, and mark my words, life insurance is a gateway to generational wealth. Tell you to this day, if you are covered, your life is covered, think about what you're leaving the next generation.
Right.
Cover yourself for, some people are selfish though. Some people are selfish. They say, well, when I pass away, I'm gone. I can't spend it. Well, what about your kids? What about your future grandkids? That is take yourself out of it, right?
Right.
And think about when you leave, what kind of legacy are you leaving behind?
And that's what they miss.
That's what they miss.
Because
you could change your whole last name. To change the whole meaning of your last name.
And you could stop the generational curse from happening, because the Bible do say leave a legacy for your children and your grandchildren. Right. Because it don't have to be money, it's information.
Exactly. Yeah,
information.
Even the financial education itself is something that you could help stop, cut that curse, teaching the younger generation right now. Because even with my daughter, she's 6, right? And of course she, mommy, where's your card? She wants the card. I want this, I want that. Yeah, we're starting to cut that off a little bit, right? Because I need her to understand that mommy, daddy works for this, and you have to work for what you want. You have to work hard, and nothing's given to you, right? And it's hard, and it's hard with this new generation coming up too, because the parents were doing a lot better, shall I say, financially than say our parents were. So we're able to give more and do more for our kids right now, right? So we don't want to turn them necessarily into being ungrateful, don't understand how to work hard and things like that. So I'm trying to myself personally, my husband and I trying to find that balance of, okay, she can't have everything she wants. We have to, put a wall up at some point.
Right.
Because this is just an example. Just yesterday this happened, right? Her dad took her to Target because he was going to get her a new toy, which happens often. And the one she picked out was rather expensive. And he said, no, we can't get that. That's too expensive. She got very upset. So she ended up leaving the store without the toy. She gets home to me and she said, Mom, Daddy didn't buy me the toy. I said, why? He said it cost too much. I said, well, Morgan, how much was it? She said it was 11 and 9 and 3 9s. So I'm thinking 11 and 3 9s. I said, so Morgan, that means it was $119.99. She said, yes. I said, well, baby, that's too expensive. We're not going to buy a toy of that expense for what? For you to play with it for 2 days and throw it away? I said, no, mommy, we can't spend our money on frivolous things that will only last you 2 days because your interest is going to go away, right? So we're starting now to kind of, help equate what money means and how to, give some type of, in her 6-year-old brain.
She remembered all the numbers.
Yes, she remembered all the numbers.
All the numbers.
Yes, from her ride from Target to home, she knew it was 11 and 39.
So let me ask you a question. How do you plan on teaching her about money? Because now if she can remember the numbers.
Yes,
exactly. How do you plan on teaching your 6-year-old are you going to take the entrepreneurial route or are you going to take you need to work for it route?
So I think we're gonna take the entrepreneurial route, right? Because it's gonna be one of those where she's already making little bracelets, and I'm talking to her like, okay, Morgan, you can sell these bracelets. How much do you want to sell them for? Of course, she's saying $50, but okay, I get it. But I'm just trying to put into her mind that her creativity, her talents, her crafts can be translated,
into money.
Right? So I'm starting little things like that, right? And making her do chores around the house to earn, an allowance type things. That's how we plan to start out with her.
Right. But, I remember we used to get allowance.
Yeah.
But we ain't have to work for it.
See, exactly, right?
I didn't have to work for, I don't know if my siblings did, but I got me a weekly allowance. Like it was like, I ain't gonna lie, I felt like my father was my bailout plan.
Oh, okay.
I get in trouble. He always had my back, and I was daddy's girl, and I got he gave me whatever I asked for, no matter how dysfunctional it was, that type of thing. But it's not good to do that, actually. But do you remember the lemonade stand?
Yes. And my daughter has asked to have one of those as well. She's seen them, and we stopped by one, and a little boy was selling lemonade, and she wants to do the same. So yes.
And my mom, my mom was it's funny, my mom was a stay-at-home mom. And I never forget, and a lot of people I know will remember, she said, okay, I want you guys to have a candy store. So she'd go buy all of this candy, and we will be when the kids come out of school, we'd be the ones selling it.
Yeah, they're like,
and she would take the money, and she would put it in Crown Royal bag.
Oh wow! I remember.
And she was separated from myself and my brother, right? And so it's funny because my brother, we knew. I used to watch what she had, she would had it though,
right?
But I used to watch her when she go do it, because I want to know where the money at. I always want to know where the money is.
Right, exactly.
But she taught us entrepreneurship then. And I always had a heart for it.
Yeah.
Like, you work for people and you're like, why am I doing this?
Yes.
I never was on one hand, my father was like, go get a good job so you can make sure you have money. On the other hand, my mother was like, here's how you make money. It's interesting. She was a stay-at-home mom, but she put us in a position to know about entrepreneurship.
Right. And see, I would say I'm the complete opposite, right? Entrepreneurship was not a desire or even much of a thought, right? For me, when coming up, I just knew I was going to college. I was going to work for companies, and then I was going to retire, right? I think what has hit me, I'll say a lot has hit me in the last 5 to 8 years. Things just start shifting in me, right? And I'm thinking, why am I blood, sweat, and tears for a company, employer, to do what in the end, right? That don't sit right.
No.
Right? So that's,
especially when you working in accounting, right?
Yeah, you see the numbers.
That's when I was like, I saw the numbers, because I ended up in account in AR,
Right.
which was opposite of what you, but I had to go to, remember, I had to go to you and say, hey, I screwed up something.
Right.
Can you show me what I did? And then, but you was the opposite end. You
Yeah.
was the opposite end of the GL.
Yeah.
You was in the GL and I was in the accounts receivable.
The subledger, yeah.
And I was like watching and I'm like, wait a minute. What are we doing?
Yeah.
But when you
Yes.
put all that blood, sweat, and tears
Into making
Into
somebody
making
else
money.
rich.
into making somebody else rich.
Yes.
And then you have to, so in order to be an entrepreneur, you have to make a mental shift
Mind shift. Huge mental shift.
to give the same thing to
Yep.
your own personal company. And I've been struggling in making that shift.
Yes, it is a shift. The shift from being an employer,
Employer,
versus an
employee, and employee. Yeah.
versus a business owner.
Exactly.
Right. I don't have, as a business owner, no one is over me, telling me, guiding me, giving me my worth, telling me how much I'm worth and what I make. That's no longer the case as a business owner.
No, it's not.
Right.
And so you think you got all this time.
Yeah.
And you have
But
to discipline yourself because
Right.
you're supposed to be working.
Right. Exactly.
Ain't no days off.
No, there's no days off. No. Then you need to get up just like you was getting up for that job. You need to hit that alarm clock, get up at the same time.
Exactly.
I don't care if you don't leave the house, you go to your office in your home and you work just like you would be working for an employer.
But you have to make that
same
mental shift.
Yeah.
So when you help people with finances, have you ever helped someone that struggled with the scarcity mindset?
Oh, yes. Very much so. Yes. Yes, definitely.
Because it's a difference with the
Because it is-
abundant mindset
Yes.
and the scarcity mindset.
Yeah, I find those with the scarcity mindset are in most financial difficulties, right? Because it's again, it's that instantaneous gratification.
Yeah.
It's like that, I can't wait, I need to get it now, or it's not going to be there. Or,
Right.
you know, that type of thing.
Or it's
Yes.
never enough.
Or it's
I don't have
never
enough.
Or it's never enough.
Yeah.
And it's like, why is it never enough? And I think that's where the psychology comes in, right? Because
Right.
what do you mean it's not enough? Enough for who? Enough for you? Why is it not enough for you right now?
Right.
And what is it going to take? Where are you trying to get to? Let's start there first. What's your goal? Where are you trying to get to versus where you are now? Okay, well, let's take a step back
Mm-hmm.
and let's see the steps it may take for you to get to where you got to get to. Patience is hard as well.
And
Being patient.
being patient is not easy. And so when I work with people who say I need help with finances, and I don't help them in the area you help them in, I send them to you. But
Right.
but what I do is first get the background, like how do you view, what was your first encounter with finances, like your memory.
Yeah.
And finances, we go through that. Then we do some work, and if it's a scarcity mindset, there could be some trauma.
Yes.
Trauma related to finances, like not having enough food to eat
When growing up,
or someone giving you a message, because sometimes we get messages as kids that we don't talk about. We conceptualize it the way we want. We walk away and we have this conceptualization of something that's not there. Like me, I walked away with, this is power. Wow.
Yeah.
I need a credit card. When I get grown, I'm going to get a credit card.
Right.
I get to do what I want to do. I get to buy what I want to buy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And so
Yep.
when they give you, and then you start to feel this, you get a credit card, you feel accepted. You don't, you feel very much rejected. But if it's trauma behind finances, like I didn't have enough food to eat, or I didn't have my shoes, I got teased at school because my shoes were holy, because my parents couldn't afford, or my parents decided they wanted to do what they wanted to do and leave me
with what
was left. These are the type of things you find out, and you have to get in the cusp of that that's what I get into.
Wow.
When I'm talking to people, because that's important. It's important always to find out the root cause.
Correct.
Because the root cause will let you know, let's pull out those bad roots and let's plant a good foundation.
Right.
Because my roots were bad.
Yeah.
And so I had to figure out, I could pay all my debt off, but if that I got to get it, that power thing.
Right.
If that keeps coming up, I'm gonna keep being in debt.
Exactly.
It's gonna continue to happen.
It's cycle. Wow.
I'm gonna pay it off, get it back. Pay it off, get it back. It's a constant thing. I know that because I experienced it.
Right.
And so
Right. Exactly. So what do you, so when you're speaking with your clients in regards to that, I guess, is that eye-opening, I guess?
It's eye-opening for them.
Yeah.
And it's really, I always take the posture of questions and non-judgmental and let them know this is something that I want you to, if once you learn it, you can't unlearn it.
It's true.
But also, everybody is dealing with this, but don't nobody talk about it because it's shame connected to it.
Correct.
You know, credit card debt is shameful.
Yeah.
You know, I was $50,000 in debt.
Yeah.
Credit card because of that mindset.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And so so David Ramsey got this snowball thing that came out that made a difference. Pay off the small one, put the money on the next one.
Yeah.
That you don't act as if you didn't pay that off.
Correct.
And put the money on the next smaller one.
Yeah.
And pay the minimum on the other ones and keep going till you get rid of that.
Yeah.
Because remember, I don't want to be a slave to the lender.
Exactly.
Because when I go in business, I can't even keep my business up if I got debt.
Exactly. And say exactly. Because I mean, first of all, if you continuously got debt and you paying on it, what's left for you to put into your business?
You can't. You can't. And so,
but see, your mindset may go to, okay, well, I'm paying off the debt anyway. Well, I just paid off this credit card, so let me go ahead and use the credit card I just paid off to,
Yeah, you constantly rotate money. Yeah. So you robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Exactly. Exactly. And that is what a lot of people find themselves in. It's just a wheel going around.
It's a wheel.
And around and around, right? And sometimes, I meet with clients and, they have a lot of debt that they're trying to knock off. And it comes to a point to where, Mr. or Mrs. Client, you may have to get a second job. You may have to bring in additional income. I get it, right? You may have to bring in additional income to knock off some of this debt because at the same, you still have your day-to-day living expenses and you're trying to knock off a huge debt. That may be the case. But I always say it's temporary. Think of it as temporary.
Exactly.
Right? Nothing's permanent.
Because if it's temporary, but you got to have a plan around that temporary plan.
Exactly.
Because if you don't, it'll be permanent. And that's why I say you get to the root cause.
Correct.
What is really happening behind the scenes?
Yep.
Because there's a unconscious movement and script you follow. And what is that script? We get to the script. We get to the script. We get to the problem.
Makes sense.
You have to get to the root cause of what is happening because there is a script. I don't care what nobody says. It's a script behind behavior all the time.
Yeah. 100%.
And so you have to figure that out. But let me ask you this question. Do you think, how many credit cards should a person have?
I don't necessarily subscribe to, I get the need and the meaning behind credit, right? Mm-hmm. If you have one good card, right? And this is for those that are disciplined and responsible, right? To have one good credit card that gives you your rewards, if you travel a lot, you get benefits from using these cards. However, to get those, you also need to be responsible in how you pay those off, right? Mm-hmm. I would just suggest one good credit card.
I agree.
That you use for all of your expenses, but you pay that sucker off as soon as
you can.
It's due. Mm-hmm. It should never, so that you're not accumulating the interest.
Right.
Everybody cannot do that. Mentally, the discipline around that, everyone cannot.
Everybody can't do that. That's true, because I've been one of them.
Exactly. And I was one of them.
Exactly. And you know what? It need to be under 30%.
Yes.
Utilization.
Rate should be under 30%.
But it's I like one because when I go out of town, I don't like using my debit card.
Right, and it's safer to
use your credit card because if somebody run up some expenses, they not messing with my money.
Exactly.
But I can fight that. I got time to fight that. But when they go into your actual money,
Your debit
Now,
card.
your debit card, now you messing with my
Yeah.
mortgage and all of that, not my
Exactly.
living expenses.
Yeah.
You know, you messing, now you put me in a situation
Right. Exactly.
where I'm dealing with financial trauma now.
Agreed. Yeah.
You know, it's less traumatic.
Right. If it's
It's intrusive anyway,
yes, it is.
but it's less traumatic if it's a credit card because you know they got
they back you up.
they back you up.
Right.
Yeah, they back you up
They
in a
take care of
different
you.
way. So
Yeah.
I agree with that one.
Yeah.
One good one.
Just one good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stay away. My personal opinion, stay away from the store related credit cards.
Oh yeah, with the high
furniture
interest
cards
rates.
With the high interest rates. Yeah. They'll get you though.
They'll get you though. Yeah, they
If you
get
get one, just pay it off.
yeah, they get you on that one.
Yeah.
They get you on that.
Yeah.
And student loans is a huge thing. I came to you with student loans.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait a minute, I'm gonna be transparent. Let me tell you, my thought process when I was getting my student loan, I had the same mentality at that time of the credit card power.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, they get ready to give me $100,000. You know.
Right, exactly.
Oh, I can do a lot with that.
Right.
You know,
and
I ain't care about what a dotted line. I ain't even read the disclaimer.
Right, the promissory note.
Yeah, because I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get a bailout for this. That was always my thought. I'm gonna get a bailout.
Right.
So, which is dysfunctional as I don't know what. Seriously, no. All jokes aside, I'm not lying. But so I sent our son and myself to I wanted the best college because that was me. I want the best.
Yeah.
That was my mindset.
Yeah.
Life is short.
Okay.
That life is short mentality
can
get you in trouble too if you don't use it in the right context.
Correct.
So I had that. I'm racking up student loan debt like it ain't nothing, but shame to talk about it. But when I came to you, I promise you I was not ashamed to talk about it because if I would have been, I wouldn't have got the help.
Exactly. And that's another thing that, when a lot of people, they'll see me posting on social media and stuff, and they may be afraid and shameful to reach out and ask for help. I'm totally here for that. So I've been there. That's what I'm saying. There's really not much a person can sit in front of me and share with me that I either haven't already been through myself,
right,
or I've seen it and I understand how it happens. So you should never, even any financial professional though, that's what we do. And there's never any shame behind it. It should not be any shame behind it.
And
we're not judging on
exactly.
Our side of the table.
And a lot of people, a lot of people do give you, talk to you in a condescending manner, but you didn't do that to me. You were very transparent as well, and was like, "Girl, shoot, let me tell you about me."
Right,
and that made it feel like, wow, I'm not the only one. I thought I was the only one, and I felt very heard, validated, and it made me say, okay, I trust this person, and that's important. And my clients probably feel the same way with me because I don't judge them because I'm like, girl, I did all that.
See, exactly.
I did all that. You ain't the only one. Trust me, I did it. That's why I'm in the profession I'm in, because I done did all the work. Right. I done messed it up. And then when it comes to the student loans, you were able to give me some resources, provide resources for me to cut that.
Yeah.
To
and that's part of networking.
Big, huge drop.
Exactly.
I'm like, oh snap.
Right. And that's, and that's part of being in the profession of networking and working with people, partnering with different people that can, help you with your clients. Right.
Right.
So that's a good partnership that I have for student loans, and obviously plug.
If you
need help.
If you could go back in time with the student loans, what would you have done different?
Oh my goodness. If I would have never gotten them.
I wouldn't. I said the same thing. I would never touch those.
But at that time when, going to school, what was that year? What was it? That was like 98, 99 in that time frame. They were throwing credit cards at new students on campus.
Big time.
Yeah, here's a credit card. Get a free t-shirt. Here's a credit card. Get a free hat. And we was falling.
We was like, I was like, credit card.
Yeah. I fell for the credit cards and all of that. But as far as student loan debt, I think, I didn't come from money. Like, right, my parents were not rich, wealthy, or anything like that. So I knew I wanted to go to college, right? But I think if I had it to do over, I probably would have stayed home, did like a community college stint, worked, kind of saved up some money, and then finished off at a 4-year university to get my degree.
That's what I did when our son went to college.
Yeah.
I sent them to a community university
Yeah.
where it was really, I could pay out of my pocket.
Same classes that you would
Same
take
class. I said, you go do your 2
right.
years over here.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna come and go. And but I sent them to I don't regret sending them to Roosevelt University in Chicago, which is a really good college. We both graduated from the same college. I did not feel bad. And so I was able to really, he really got a chance to get that college experience, but I would not. The student loans, I was like, that's a scam.
It's a scam. It's a scam. Among a lot of other things.
When you think about so people got all this debt, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about debt consolidation?
So my thoughts on debt consolidation. I think it would definitely depend on the individual situation, right? What are your debts, right? What are the interest rates related to all of these debts, right? If your interest rates are all over the place, 18 to 28%, and they're spread out amongst multiple things, right? It may be beneficial to just consolidate it into one, right? That would be a debt consolidation, right? But depending on where you go, if you go to a particular company that offers debt consolidations, I would pay attention to the fees associated with it. The interest with that, does it make sense? Are you paying more in interest than you would if you were just paying everything separately? So there's a lot of questions that I would consider before I would send a client or recommend a client does debt consolidations.
Yeah, because you can actually do that on your own.
Yeah, you can do it on your own.
You can do. The only thing about it is that
debt snowballing.
You could do the debt snowballing, definitely, and some people actually stop paying so they can settle. Which is not good for your credit.
No, especially if you have plans to use that credit.
If you plan on using your credit, that's not good. You see, I know about all that stuff because I've been there.
Got it. Yep.
And so, but it still is not going to help you if you did not deal with the psychology part. Because it didn't help me. I did I did a consolidation before. I did a bankruptcy before. I did a consolidation before. And when I did the consolidation, all I did was consolidate and paid off the credit cards and kept them open and went right back to the same dysfunction.
It's the psychology behind it.
It's the psychology. I had to first deal with hey, you can't, this ain't real.
Right.
You not in reality.
No, exactly.
You're not in reality, boo.
No.
Get into reality.
Exactly.
Because that is not your reality. You are in fantasy land.
Yes.
And so I had to really look at it. It was hard to do that because it took me to have to look at and get some help. It took me to have to say, I need help because I'm in a rut. But I had to deal with that psychology part and had to deal with the fact that it really taught me a lot though. Like when someone needs something, I don't mind giving it, but I always check and make sure I'm not giving out a deficit.
Right.
Or am I giving because I'm afraid of what someone think if I don't say no? Interesting, right?
Interesting. Worrying about what somebody else may think, right?
Worrying about what somebody else may think, because if I don't give it, how do I respond to them if I can't, like I learned a lot about finances through the Word of God. I never forget one of my nephews said, "Hey, Auntie, can you co-sign me a car?" And I love him. I'm like, oh, my credit good. Then I was like, hold up, wait a minute. I just read a scripture.
Okay.
That said, do not. In Proverbs, do not co-sign. The Bible talk about this stuff. Real talk.
It is right there.
Do not co-sign. And if you do, get out of it quickly because it's
Wow.
really dealing with the relationship,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And so, and it made sense because if you can't go get your own,
How you
how you gonna pay
pay?
me back? I'm your
Exactly.
family. You really ain't gonna do me right.
No,
You know
exactly.
what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think several people have went down that rabbit hole of co-signing for a love. Like, no, never do that.
And so, one of the questions I saw that people ask a lot: how do you know when you need to reach out?
When you need
For-
financial assistance.
We need financial assistance.
You know what? I think you need financial assistance as soon as you start making money.
There you go.
That's what I think it needs to happen as soon as you start making
Mhm.
money. 100%.
Yep, 100%.
But if we, you know, if we pass those people up, right? If we think about when you are kept up at night, worried about
Tell me about it.
how
Of how you gonna eat,
your
right?
necessities are going to be met. It's time for you to reach out for assistance.
Yeah,
Right?
it is.
Yeah. It's past time at that point. Because we need to figure out what got you there.
I like how you
and get you
said
out of there.
when you start making money.
Yep.
That's the key because you are dealing with a finance. You have to deal with a budget as soon as you get a check.
As soon as you get one. That's it. That budget is number one.
And that's why it's time to teach the kids,
Right.
like the importance of money so they won't feel
Correct.
entitled.
Exactly.
Because entitlement is big. Like,
Big.
you got it. You supposed to do this. You my
Right.
mother. Let's teach you how to make money for yourself.
Exactly.
So you can feel proud of yourself and then operate in the gifts that you made. Let's play around and see
Yep.
what gifts you can operate in.
Exactly.
It's a very good teachable moment, right?
Yep.
When you can teach your kids. If I could do it all over, I definitely teach our kids
Yeah.
a lot about finances that you just can't just be out here.
No.
And then some people feel like I need to take it from other people.
That part. That part. And it's okay. Like,
And it's okay because
I'm
I got
okay with
away with it.
yeah.
So let me go take it.
I would look like we got a
Well,
comment.
we got a question, a comment, right? Okay. I got a credit card in college with $1,000 limit and didn't even have a job.
That part right there.
That they give it to
Same with
you.
me.
They give it to
Yes.
you. Yup. They give it to you. You ain't gotta have a job.
It's like I'm new
They
on
lean on
campus.
your parents.
Exactly. I'm new on campus. I just started. I'm a freshman. I don't even have a job. I don't even live here. I'm just literally temporarily here for school. But you're gonna give me a credit card?
Swear.
Yeah.
You know what my daddy did for me? He put me on his credit card and
now,
gave me the credit card
now that is actually,
to build my credit.
that's not a bad way to
But see,
build credit for a young person.
he had to get on me about,
Yeah.
wait a minute, what did you just spend?
Exactly.
Because I was like, you ain't tell me I had a limit. You don't give me a credit card and don't tell me.
Oh, yeah.
I kid you not, he was
Right.
like, ring, ring.
Right. You probably saw that
I was
come
like,
up like,
yeah,
what is
yeah.
that?
I felt good using it too. I was like, oh, I felt good. And I was like, girl, you want some jeans too? Trying to make friends.
Right. Let's see.
But when he
Yeah.
got on me, I was like, ain't nobody getting nothing.
Okay, that's it. He only need to get on you.
Yeah,
one
yeah,
time.
when he got on me, I was like, oh man. But he did help. It did help build my credit.
Yeah.
Though. It did, really did. Because he paid the bill though.
Yeah.
See, I ain't
Oh,
have
yeah.
to pay the bill.
Yeah.
That was the problem.
That was a problem. Yeah,
But
you
he
did
was
not-
he was just loving me.
Yeah.
But
No, and he was trying to set you.
and
up
he
for
was
the
trying to
future.
set me up for
Yeah.
the future, but he left out some information.
Yeah.
Some
Understandable.
pertinent information I needed.
Like,
For
this
me,
does have to be paid
for my
back.
brain, no, but he
Yeah.
didn't know about psychology behind it. But he
No.
definitely left. He definitely talked about leaving. Because he had a policy when he passed.
Okay.
He left pensions and all that.
Yeah.
He left all of the stuff for us,
Got it.
house and all. He
Right.
had his stuff set up,
Right. Which
which
is good.
taught us
Yeah.
you want to do that.
You wanna do the
But
same.
it was
Yeah.
some information missing that I had to find
Yeah.
out. That after I did the work, I had to do a lot of work. So if you're struggling and trying to figure out where you are mentally in your finances, come see me. We can take a deep dive into bringing questions so you can get an eye opener
Yeah.
of where you are, because there's no judgment. It's something you really want to know. I kid you not. This is something you want to know because it will definitely help you with your future. And you know, like we don't know what we don't know, right? And so I didn't know student loans would get me in that kind of trouble. But man, I praise God for you helping me with that resource. If you ever want a resource in that, reach out to Mykisha. She got a very good resource for student loans.
Yes.
You know.
Yes. I am a client of his as well.
For
sure. Yes.
And when you think about a question about financial scams,
Ooh,
let me
there's a
tell you
lot of
about
those.
that. I'm a person, I was always a risk taker, right?
Okay.
At least I called myself. But entrepreneurs are risk takers.
You have to be. Actually, you kind of have to be.
But when if you operating in a moment of scarcity, that's how you get scammed.
Yeah.
And that's where you got to be careful. If somebody say, you give me $10,000 and I'll make you rich, how believable is that?
Right.
How do you know you're being scammed?
Exactly.
All right. You got to look at the psychology in that too.
Exactly.
Because number one, they prey on the poor.
Exactly. Yeah, they do.
Rich people don't sit around and do that.
No, they prey on you. And yeah, you're thinking, oh man, I really need this. I need that.
And rich people, we assume rich people are paying thousands of dollars. No, they're not doing that.
No.
They actually not.
No, they're not.
And you got people that prey on people who are looking to grow at a fast pace.
Right. And that's it.
And that's how you get scammed. It's always, I need it now. Yep. In the moment, I can get this fast.
Right.
No.
As opposed to thinking, okay, just step back and think about this. How is it that you make money that fast? Is that even possible?
Look at their shoes. The people who present. Look at the shoes. Look at the shoes. Look at the outfit. I kid you not. Look at the shoes. They are ran down.
Oh,
they have a suit on and look at the shoes. Look at the shoes.
Yes. That's a telltale sign.
That's a telltale sign. Wait a minute, something wrong with this picture. Look at all of the presenters.
Right. That's a good point.
You really see incongruencies.
Yeah.
In all of them. You
follow your gut.
And follow your gut. Your gut be like, something is wrong, but I want this.
And it is.
You know what? I'm gonna give it a shot. What I got to lose? That's when you got to think about that. You might be getting scammed.
That's your red flag.
That's your red flag. That's your red flag.
Yeah.
And financial and mental health definitely go together.
Yeah.
Because guess what? Here's what I found out in my work. There's a chart I do. It's called healthy esteem. Mm-hmm. I don't do self-esteem. I do healthy esteem.
Okay.
Self-esteem to me is temporal. If I feel good, I got self-esteem.
Yeah.
Healthy esteem is you really assessing your health. Mm. And that's, I got a wheel, and it's social, financial, spiritual, emotional, all of that, right? Okay. Here's how I go together. If I'm feeling a certain way, if I'm feeling really down, and I have if I feel down and I feel like I want some power, and I have that mentality that power is, I always use myself, I don't use nobody else. I have that sense of like, if I use my credit card, I feel powerful.
Okay. If
I'm in a moment of when I'm feeling really down, I don't like what I'm feeling. I don't want to feel. So I go shopping, buy stuff I don't even need, but I feel powerful for the moment because I'm at a deficit in my emotions. So it's hindering my financial.
Wow. Yep.
But it's also going to hinder me in other ways.
Other areas, yeah.
Because it's going to cause me to have anxiety around my job if I have a job. If I'm working for someone or if I have a business, now I'm like, how am I gonna get the money to pay for this month? Now I'm traumatized from my own behavior. It's a form of trauma because I'm operating out of anxiety and fear for the next moment.
Right.
And so it goes hand in hand because of that.
I can see that. Definitely. That is a very good point. Yeah. I know, I'm thinking back. That is, yeah.
Mhm.
So I need to send my clients to you first, and then they need to come to me. That's what I'm getting out of this.
Yeah, because guess what? You fight. Guess what? What about if I got trauma around how my parents didn't leave me anything? They didn't have policies.
So why should I?
So why should I? Why shouldn't I keep my money? I'll come to you. How you gonna convince me with change of a mindset, with a policy? Because policy is taken from me because I was taught that somebody has taken something from me. And that's my mental state is I made a pact unconsciously.
Yeah.
Nobody has taken nothing from me.
Wow.
And so
That's
I come,
deep.
you see what I'm saying? It gets deep. It's really deep. That's why you have to find out what script you're playing. Because you have people who pay their kids, bail them out of everything, out of guilt.
Wow.
You look at your if you want to really know, look at your credit card statement and your bank statement. And what are you spending your money on? It's a story.
It's a story. Yeah.
The backdrop got all of these issues mentally behind it that we don't want to look at, and we don't say nothing and we don't see it.
Wow.
So we have to see what is causing this to happen. But that's what I deal with. I don't look for perfection in the wheel because we're not perfect.
Right.
What I look for is where's the deficit and how is it affecting these areas of your life? So on a scale, where you at? Why did you say you was there? And how can I get you here?
Wow.
Because they're in control of how they they roll. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So I need to actually work with you and give you like the questions to
ask exactly
for your client,
right,
to get them where they need to be. Because it's really like when you get down to it, what do you want? Because you want to go in a line with them. You never take somebody where they don't want to go.
Yeah, that's one of my biggest questions I ask when I meet, but especially a new client. Where are you trying to get you? What are your goals?
Yeah.
Like what,
and then, and if you're not meeting them, why not?
Exactly.
Because there's a block. It's a block.
Yep.
It's really a block. And people say, man, how could they spend $10,000 with their credit card on a scam like that? What were they thinking? That was stupid. No, that wasn't stupid. No. It's the psychology behind it.
Yeah.
That's not stupid. Wow. Actually, it's brilliant if it's used the right way.
Right. Wow.
Because that person ain't scared to take a risk.
That's true.
So they're an entrepreneur.
Right.
Let them pursue that. But somebody came and they messed them up in that area. And now they can't pursue what they want to pursue.
Yeah.
It really hinders your purpose. And that's why I'm big about it.
Yeah.
Is because helping people get there, because you need to know what's behind it. I had people say, "Oh my God, I'm codependent. I got codependent behavior with my kids." Wow. And then we get to the why. Wow. What's going on? And it be guilt and shame always. A lot of times it's guilt and shame. And it's like, okay, let's get rid of this false guilt you got.
Right.
Because it's fake. It just masks itself as real. Because changing your perception about it.
That's pretty, that is pretty eye-opening. I didn't even think about it, breaking it down like that.
Mm-hmm. Wow. It's very important to know the backdrop. And it helps you where you won't have to work so hard.
Right.
To get people to do what they really ultimately want to do.
Exactly. But it's something that's blocking them to get there.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes age, we think, oh, I'm too old.
I have a lot of people.
Yeah. What do you do with people that come to you and say, I'm too old to get insurance? They're not going to give it to me.
I would say, yeah. Look, I can say that I'm not a miracle worker, right? But some are even though they're too, what they say is too old, right?
Right.
Some that are a little bit more mature in age, but they have good health. right?
Mhm.
Just because you're mature in age doesn't mean your health is poor, right? If you have good health and you are of age, you can get life insurance, even if you have poor health.
I was one of them that came to you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I didn't know if you want me to put that out there like that, but
I was one. I was like, girl, I'm too old. They ain't gonna give me. They ain't gonna give me no more
Martha
insurance.
was my first client that came back as elite preferred, right? Like the best rating possible, health rating possible, right? Which I was like, okay, Martha. But what things to consider about that is when you of age, depending on your health, you do pay a higher premium
Right.
to get covered for life insurance. That's just one thing that's a fact, right? That's not to say you can't get life insurance. You might just have to pay more for it.
Right.
So
Is whole better than term?
I think each life insurance product is great. They
Okay.
all have their purpose, right? They all have their purpose. Like there's no bad life insurance policy.
Do you ever get people who afraid to be scammed?
On life insurance, a lot.
Oh, okay.
Actually, last week, I don't know what it was, something about last weekend, everyone that I was kind of coming in contact with, they were like, oh, life insurance is a scam. What? But you insuring this phone you got, you insuring your car,
Tell me about it.
which is a piece of metal, and you riding in that piece of metal, but your life isn't insured.
It makes no
Something's wrong
sense,
with
right?
that.
It makes no sense to us, but
it-
it makes a lot of sense to the person.
Yeah.
And that's why they need to get that backdrop
Yes.
and see what is stopping you from moving forward, because this is really something this is a need.
Yeah, it is. It should be
It's a need.
It should be a
It's not a
requirement.
want. It's a need.
It is a need.
It should be a
It should be
requirement.
mandatory, just like
It
it
should
is
be
mandatory to
mandatory
have like
to
our
health
car
insurance.
and health. Exactly.
It should be. You're right. It should be mandatory because it's not fair
It's not fair
that I got to pay $10,000
because you
because you didn't have a policy.
Exactly.
That's a whole nother
It's a whole
subject.
nother subject. And what about your family you leaving behind?
That's what I'm saying.
Depends on your income. If something was to happen to you, what are they supposed
Oh
to do?
yeah. Oh yeah. I didn't want that to happen to my spouse.
Exactly. Right.
And
Right.
so I know we're getting on an hour because
yeah.
we can open up a bunch of subjects in this
it's a
matter
lot. Yeah.
because it's
to
really
be continued.
So if you really want to know what is the roadblock, I always think of process improvement when I think about stuff, because what's the roadblock and that's stopping you from moving forward in your financial health?
Yeah.
And if it's something that you don't have enough money, let's get a hold to Mykisha so she can help you create a map for that. If it's but we really do, if you want to do the workaround and you really want to know, because I tell people like every year we go for a physical. And what are we going for a physical for? So we can check on our physical health.
Right.
Nobody goes
For
and check on their
checkup.
mental health.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Wow.
It's
That's a good point.
sometimes it's the lack of awareness.
Yeah.
People equate mental health as a mental disorder. That is not
No,
what that
it's
is.
Makes sense.
It's how do I deal? I see this happen. I see a pattern in my life, but I don't know how to stop it.
Right.
You need to go see a life coach or a mental health therapist.
Right.
So you can get the answers you need.
And it's nothing wrong
And
with
there's
that.
nothing wrong with that, because that's what you call self-care. We go get a massage,
Yeah.
but we never think about this brain function. You can't get none of that
No.
without this being right.
Exactly.
And so you have to check on your mental health. And so if you're really struggling in that area, come see me. My name is Martha Rice, owner of Complete and Hem. I'm located at 909 Northeast 410 Suite 730. My number is 210-544-3631. And Mykisha, when you want to learn how to map out your financial plan for your future and for the future of your children,
Yes.
you want to call Mykisha, and she'll give you information.
Yeah, so right. You can actually follow me on Facebook. It's Mykisha Jordan McKay. All of my contact information you can find right there in my bio. And actually what I'll do is under the live video, I'll just tag myself there and click that and click follow. And you can find all of my contact information there.
And I'll do the same. I got to learn how to do it though.
Yes, right. I help you.
I'll send you the link and you can hook me
exactly.
up. See, you got to help each other. We always helping each other.
Yes.
You know, we do help each other.
Well,
So.
I want to thank you for inviting me and having an interview with me. I appreciate that.
I appreciate
thinking
you
of me.
coming. I thought of you because you really helped me a lot, and I want you to help other people
Thank
because
you.
you passionate.
Yeah.
I don't refer everybody. You have to really do good with me first
I get it.
because I want my clients to be taken care of,
Right.
and I trust them with you. So
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, this is my passion. That is for sure.
so that's important to me. So thank you guys for listening. If you have any questions, reach out. We are happy and here to help.
Thank you.
We welcome everybody who listened to our guest today, and we appreciate you chiming in and let us know what's going on. If you have anything you want to talk about, please hit us up at 210-461-8034 or hit us up on our website, wsanradio.com, and we will be glad to have you come on board and be one of our guests. Thank you.